Nice to meet you again.
Nice meeting you, Arita.
Great. There has been a clip this morning that was doing rounds on the internet concerning some young boys from 4 leavers who were so excited about completing Form 4.
Yes.
But they decided to do it the wrong way, and they were abusing and insulting the CS for interior and also the CS for education. And I looked at the clip so many times to just want to really know whether it is true. And I thought about you because you are a counselor and you do this, you talk to young people all the time.
Yes.
So I want us to discuss concerning what next after the exams for the experts.
Well, thank you, Arita, for that concern. I actually also saw that particular clip, and it is very disturbing, and I think this shows the extent at which there has been a decay of morals, and I think this boils down to the issue of thinking how we can help our young people, and having somebody in place to let them know that having done their Form 4 exam, it's not the end of it. It's not final. There's a lot of other things they need to get involved in. But I think we also, personally as a counselor, I said I would also want to take some bit of responsibility, because people who are in the society, we also need to, the other day we saw some group of people, confronting a police officer.
So was it Nakuru or Gilgil?
I think it was in Gilgil, because of taking a bribe. And I said to myself, wow, I think we need to have such people in the society.
That's right.
And I think we need to we need to revisit some of the things that we used to do in the past, whereby a child belonged to the community. And therefore, the people who are around, who live amongst, young people, I think we always need to take responsibility and say, there is something we can do about that. When you see a young person going to school, whenever you have an opportunity to interact with the young people, it is always important and very important for us to try and instill these morals. Because again, it appears that even as families, we are failing. Because, Arita, you cannot give what you don't have.
Yeah, that's true.
And therefore, these boys are only giving what they have in the deposits of their hearts.
Even before we go there,
Bwana
Moffat,
what
exactly has led to this? Because initially we never had those things in schools. When I grew up, when you and I went to school, teachers were respected. You would not even dare call a teacher by a name. But these young boys were so bold, calling the CS and speaking all manner of obscene kind of words. What has happened? What would have led us to this?
I think, like I said, the moral decay is the first thing that we need to think about. But at the same time, this is a child, or these are boys. I do not want to say that they just became wayward that particular time when they did their exam. It goes without saying that this is a person, this is the way they are. Right from where they come from, right from when they joined Form 1. And it is unfortunate because once they go to high school, they get to meet with other people who, again, because they are finding people who are empty in their hearts, they come and begin to plant some new things in the hearts of these people. And therefore, they can only speak what they carry.
That's true. I'm very concerned because I'm imagining, number one, they were very stupid because you can see the school badges there. And I'm even beginning to wonder, could they have been under the influence of some drugs or something? Because they should have known that social media will capture and the school will be known. It's alleged Zambira, right? I'm talking Zambira, I don't know the Zambira, but that's what is being alleged. Because then, if that is the case, then they will be apprehended and they will be dealt with.
Yes, they will.
So let's now discuss, because that is only a tip of the iceberg of what really the young people are planning to do. I'm aware that some of them will be planning to engage in promiscuous activities, some of them are planning to engage into drugs, some of them are planning to get into all manner of bad activities, because now they are free, as they say, they are as free as molecules. What do we advise parents? How do we engage the young people, the ex-cats after Form 4? Begin from tomorrow, from today, from those who have completed.
If I may look at the developmental process of every human being, these are children who are at an age in life where they are getting what we call individuation. They are being individuated, and some other times you realize as a parent that these people begin to, you know, to go against what we would call the norms of the family.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you have some laid down structures and values that children need to follow, you realize that at this particular age, they want to feel independent.
Yeah.
The reason why they are doing all manner of things and having, you know, being carded to even insult a CS, a whole CS, you know, it's quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
But this tells you that this is somebody who does not yet understand his boundaries.
That's true.
And I think as parents, it is very, very important for us at this particular time of adolescence and teenage to be very close to them. They may think that they are grown-ups, they may think that they are independent, and in as much as it is important for our parents to allow some independence because they are being individuated, it is important for us to be their friends, number one. Because you can never get to know what somebody is doing unless, first of all, you become their friends.
Yeah.
And you know, at this particular point, I think even caning and whipping might not help.
Might not help. I agree.
The best thing that the society might need to do, or parents need to do, is number one, to make sure that they are very close to these children. Yeah. And you know, Arita, I am amazed. I am surprised because the other day I was talking to a young person, and I got to know that today, young people are peddling drugs at the age of 9.
What do you mean? 9?
Yes, I'm telling you. I have been able to counsel with some young people who have told me so, that they began to peddle drugs. And what struck me odd is that they are even able to take them to JKIA in school uniform because the police cannot suspect this is just a primary school child.
Yeah.
And they are peddling drugs at age 9. And I asked myself, where is this parent? And you know, because I got some time to speak to the parents of these children, I felt sad that the parents of these children did not know that their children were peddling drugs, they were using drugs, they were involved in promiscuous activities. Yeah. Some of them had been raped in school, not once, not twice, many times.
And parents have no idea.
They have got no clue whatsoever. And they got to know what was happening when these children were 17 years. So there had been about 10 years of ignorance, whereby the parent does not know what happens, what goes on. So I think there's a lot that we need to do as a society and even as a family.
Now that brings me to the question then, how should we engage them so constructively over the holidays? They're beginning now a long, is it really a holiday or they have completed school now as they wait for college? What are some of the activities they could be engaged in?
There are quite a number of activities that these young people need to be engaged in. Because you know these are very...
Because I know there are people right now who are watching and they want to know, my son has just completed, my daughter has completed. What can I do? Are there places they can go for programs that can focus them?
Yes.
Is it, are there ways that they engaged at home?
Yes.
Which I really doubt. Because now they will tell parents, we have completed, we are free.
Yes.
Let's go and hang out with our friends.
Yes. There is quite a lot that these young people can do. And like I was saying, you know, these are very young and energetic brains.
Yeah.
And they need to be put to task.
Yes.
And there are some programs that are happening, and especially like now this December holiday, even Procare counselors has an arrangement come 15th of December at Pan-Africa Christian University.
That's right.
Whereby we can bring our young people, have some time to be mentored by some key people in the society. Then we also have some time to talk to parents. At the end of the very last session, we shall be speaking to parents, and we shall be, talking with them on how to parent teenagers. Because you know, somebody said that when your children are small, you feel so good and they are so sweet, you feel like you can eat them.
It is true.
But when they become teenagers, you begin to wonder and to regret why you never ate them up when they were young, when they were small children. So I think there are quite a number of programs that we can, they can tap into, and they can come, and we shall address quite a number of issues: teenage pregnancy. We shall talk about parenting teenagers. We shall talk about drugs abuse and substance. We shall talk about technology. We shall talk about media.
Yeah.
Because again, this is also another thing that has really influenced our young people to think the way they think.
Yeah.
Because there is a way the media has packaged, you know, a young person ought to be, which is not real.
Yeah.
And we need to come and demystify that. Yeah.
That is very true. So you are saying parents can engage their children
Yes.
on mentorship programs?
Yes.
They can look for someone they can trust,
Oh, yes.
maybe a priest, a pastor,
Yes.
someone they know has some experience,
Oh, yes.
for them to learn from them.
That is very, and you know, Bonarita, it is also very unfortunate, and I think I need to say this, because most of our young people, I have carried out a research at Kamete Maximum Prison, and I found out that my case studies were those children who are delinquent, and because of that reason they have been incarcerated. And I have found out that much of you know, the reasons why they began to have these delinquent issues is coming from their families. And many of the children that I spoke to actually were able to talk about issues to do with lack of a father, lack of a mentor, lack of a father figure. And I think these are some of the things that parents ought to look at, because they need to look at somebody that the children can trust. It could be an uncle, it could be a priest, it could be a counselor like myself.
And talking about uncles,
Yeah.
I have had girls tell me that their first interaction with, their first sexual interaction was with someone very close.
Close relatives,
an uncle,
unfortunately.
a brother, a cousin. What can you say about that? Because you might be saying you have someone you have trusted, and you live there, you are a girl with them, only to come and realize that the very same people are the ones of sexual assault of your daughter. What should parents do on that kind of area in terms of safety of their children?
These are issues that are very prevalent in the modern society, and it is quite unfortunate. But I think as a parent, it is always important if you are worried, because actually this is research, and research has it that most of their first sexual encounters are with close relatives. And for that reason, if for you a parent, you actually don't even know the person to whom you are leaving your daughter with, then you also need to be careful and cautious. You'd rather take them to a neutral person. You'd rather take them to
Shago, to
Shago, bring them to Park University, bring them to Procare counselors or Buffet Africa, and they are going to be helped.
Great. Now, there's an area I must not let you go before you address.
Yes.
Parents have been asking me about how do we handle this issue of sex? How do we talk about it? You know, I am a kissy man.
And kisses don't talk about sex.
Where I come from, we don't talk about sex.
It's a taboo.
You know, when I look at my daughter now, who is a teenager, how do I begin to introduce the topic about there's something called sex? Actually, the other day my son was asking me, Daddy, what is this thing called sex? And I realized, I thought I talked to people so boldly, but I would not be able to handle it.
Yes.
So how do you introduce it to that? I know she has been taught in schools now.
Yes.
And they know so much. But how should parents break this cultural limitation and bondage of not talking about some things like that?
Yeah, it is quite unfortunate again, because mostly in Africa, the subject of sexuality has been demonized. Not many people want to talk about sex. I remember there is one time I was in a church and somebody read a scripture from the Song of Songs, which talks about, you know, a lot about our sexuality. And some typical traditional men walked out in protest because they thought that this is illegal. It should not be done in a church context.
How dare you read such a thing in church?
And you know, we are living at a time when our young children are getting exposed to these things, even through technology. And therefore, if you don't teach them the right way, then you have someone else to teach them through technology. And therefore, I think, number one, psychology says that the first male sexual figure, so if I may put it that way, the first sexual figure to a girl is the father.
That's right.
And the first sexual figure to a boy is the mother.
That's right.
Therefore, this is a subject that God had taken care of right from the very beginning. And you know, that is a natural way to tell you that you have a very simple access to that subject, to that discussion. because they are able to listen to you. But unfortunately, many of our families, we ignore that subject right from the time our children are small, and by the time they are grown up, they are teenagers, we do not know how to address the subject.
Yeah.
And when you come with your own narrative as a parent, your daughter, your son has been advised elsewhere, and they have been told that this is the way you should go about this subject. What I want to say is that parents have a responsibility again to talk about this particular subject. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was talking to some young girls, teenagers, and we were talking about abortion. You know, because this is also another subject that is really affecting. We saw in the news some children in coastal region, whereby majority of them have been impregnated. Most of them did their exam in hospital.
14 girls impregnated.
And you know, you realize that this issue of abortion comes because of pressure. The parent feels embarrassed. You know, the child wants to go on with her studies, but nobody tells them the dangers involved in this. So yesterday we were looking at that particular subject, and we were addressing the subject of abstaining from sex altogether. Because you abstain from sex, then it means it will not be possible for you to go through abortion. And we had very graphic images and videos that I showed them. And most of them were looking so worried.
What was the reaction in this?
Oh my goodness, some of them were crying. Because they have never known that is what happens when they are taken in those particular backstreet places to carry out an abortion. And I think I was able to realize that most of our children are very naive. They don't know what happens. And therefore, a parent should also preach from home, even as pastors do their work in church, and as teachers do their work at school. Because we normally say that the family is the first school. And therefore, if the parent fails, then it becomes a problem. Now, addressing the issue of sexuality, you really have to you cannot hide your head in the sand. You really have to approach your daughter. But it has to start somewhere. Because if you failed in the formative years, then it becomes very difficult for you to begin to talk about this subject. But I think it all boils down to the question of whether you are friends or not. You know, if you are friends, that is what I was telling some parents yesterday somewhere, that if you are friends with your children, you are able to, as a matter of fact, you are not the one to go and initiate the discussion. They will be the one coming.
They will ask you questions.
They will ask you. They will begin to tell you when some boys are making some sexual advances. They will be able to come and report to you. But unto you if you are not friends. Because they will go and experiment their own way.
That is very true. Therefore, what do we like to, even before we come to the end of this, we need to challenge pastors. Those who are youth who have completed high school, they need to engage them in programs. Really bringing them not just the normal church programs, but specialized programs for mentorship. Engage a counselor, engage a mentor, someone who will come and talk to them on these kind of areas. Because sometimes, you know, when you walk around town right now, there's too much idleness. Young people are walking all over. And you can tell from the dress and the walking style.
That's true.
They are all over. And we want to caution all the young people watching right now that it's your life. And no one is going to be a watchman for you. Every choice you take is going to have a consequence. And I love many young people, you know, that you have only power over the choice that you make, but you have no power over the consequences. I listened to a story, Moffat, of a girl who had, by the age of 25, slept with over 50 men. And she was saying she began as a joke. The cousins were telling her it was a game. So she grew up knowing sex is a game.
It's a game.
So when she began doing it, it was a bit difficult in the beginning. But as she continued, it became so enjoyable, and she would even remind the cousins, let's go and play the other game, you know? So it's the way we are oriented into it. And I think we need to come to a point to break as Africans. Stop fearing talking about it. Because even if you don't talk about it,
somebody else will talk about it.
And I know
in the wrong way.
And I know right now, I was in some schools and I saw those books they call, you know, how do you call those books that ile tunaandika wakati tunamaliza. You know, ile kitabu tunaandikanga ile is a book that we discuss things.
Oh, yes.
There's a book, is it an how do you call it, autobiography or something? Where we write all the plans we have to do, what we intend to do. And as I was saying, now Mimi, I'll leave the village, go to Nairobi, I have some guys who have planned for us. We have a WhatsApp group of what to do after exams. And some of the things they had planned to do
is sex.
Is a lot of sex. It's a lot of drugs. It's a lot of self-destructive stuff. And then we want to caution all those young people who are planning to do those kind of things to be aware that is their life, and something they can easily mess themselves up.
Sure.
One more thing, Moffat, because I think this is going to be a debate we need to engage more, because you mentioned you are running somewhere. Moving forward, you mentioned of Procare on 15th.
Yes.
Can that program also enjoin the Form 4 leaders, or is it only the ones in high school?
No. It is for teenagers, because like I told you, I realized as a counselor that some of the issues, social issues we are dealing with, and more so among young people, begin at a very tender age. Actually, as young as 9 years, like I have talked about this particular child. And we want to target people who are from 12 or 13 years all the way to 19, including those who have completed their 4th form. We come and even prepare them, about life, even in the university, because some of them will be joining. And they are very naive. They don't know that even at the university, there is this saying that they say, together until graduation do us part. And therefore they live like a married, like married people, husband and wife. We have a whole building in Kikuyu whereby a certain church is taking care of young mothers and young fathers who are in the university. They have given birth, but they don't want their parents at home to know that they have children. And therefore, as a church that I know has come up with that arrangement, whereby they are taking care of their children so that they can go to school and study. And therefore, this is a subject that, an area that I would want us to involve, teenagers, even those who are preparing, including those who are insulting the CS. We need to have them on board, and we need to put sense into them. Because again, if we don't do that, we shall be failing. But I want to say this before I forget, that even as we talk about parents engaging their children to mentors and counselors and stuff like that, I still want to insist that every home is the same haven for every particular child. And therefore, don't bring them to us because you are busy doing something else. You also need to come up with some programs, home-based programs, whereby number one, you initiate the process of becoming friends with your children, so that you can also make work easier for us.
We need to give suggestions of some of the things parents can do with their children as a way of enhancing bonding. One of them is outings.
Yes.
Go out.
Going out together.
Go out with them. If they can go learn a new thing like swimming. That's one of the things. The other thing I do with my kids, though they're young, I know when they get older, they want to have their own
to be individuated. And
but also, you can try to watch a program together, an educative program. You can also play cards or play Scrabble together. Some of those things. And I know an area that we need to discuss about, maybe next time we meet, is about how do we balance between time for our children, those time on social media, because we seem to be very busy on social media.
As parents.
I am victim. Sometimes I find myself, you've been working all day, so in the evening you have some time to go through some of the posts and also maybe contributing at the expense of the children. So some of these things have also distanced the parents from the children to a point that they feel like parents are so busy. What's the point? So let me also be engaged in doing something else. So and also things like even question and answer. There's something I have been doing with my kids, and it's been bearing a lot of fruits. Where you discuss, you throw a question, not just an open-ended question, but a question that makes them to reflect. Question like, what is your greatest fear? The other day I was very shocked about when I raised a question of, what do you fear most? And my son said, Daddy, I fear the thought of death. When I imagine that I might die, it really disturbs me. And when I think you might also die. So I had a very good time to really bring in and share the gospel and share from scripture about what God says about fear and how it has been overcome. I know he didn't understand, but we had a very lively debate. And of course, the next day I asked the question of, what do you think about money? What is the purpose of money?
Interesting subject.
How much money do we need to have? And then they have very interesting perspectives on the same. And I found that question answer debate brings a lot of things that would not be when you say do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Yeah.
So we need to engage our young people, teenagers.
Yes.
Not on things of, you do this, why haven't you done this? Instead, ask things like, what do you think of these people who are being shot?
Yes.
And they're young and they have dreams in life that have not been achieved?
Yes.
And hear their views. And somehow you can also find a way of
Yes, and you know, by doing that, you are also, you know, helping them to grow their own intelligence and reasoning and thinking capacities. And also something else that I would also want to add, on top of what parents need to do to have this relationship with the children, is that they also need to take time to let their children know what they do. You know, I was surprised that not many children know what their parents do. Yes, it does no harm to carry your children to your place of work, so that they can see what you do. Today I had my children at the place where I teach, and they found me setting exams, and they were asking me, oh, when is this going to come to an end? You know, because we need to rush somewhere. And then they were like, is this what you do every day? And you know, they are able to know that even the money that we talk about, it doesn't come easy, you know. But sometimes I was telling some parents somewhere, if you cannot explain to your children where you get your money from, you are a suspect.
That's true. Absolutely.
You are a big suspect. And probably you need to be investigated by the ethics and anti-corruption. Yeah.
There are many parents who don't know. So anyway, as we come to a close of this, there are programs that I wish would have happened all over the country. One time I was involved in a program in McQueen County for youth and mentorship done by the Professor Kibuana.
Yeah.
And I found that program very, very powerful because it brings all the ex-candidates together, those who are waiting for university and colleges, and then they work in partnership with CUSPs, who come to help them know what to do. They bring State University and all the universities to come and share with all those many young people on what to do in case you don't get an A, in case you don't get the grade you want. Can you begin from somewhere? And I found that program very helpful because young people came there who were being prepared. But in fact, if you saw what happened from the KCP results, there was a young guy who was killed, who was actually beaten to death. You saw that? Because he got 277 marks. So there is also managing expectations on the part of the parents that we need to handle. But at the same time, on the ex-candidates themselves, there is also becoming. It may not come the way you want. So if you don't get an A, you wanted to get an A, you have a B. Is that the end of life?
It should not be the end of life.
In case you miss university and you have a C plane, is that the end of life? What can you do? So I wish this could be replicated in every other county, whereby instead of having the young people do all manner of things out there, let's bring them into programs. Let's spend some of this money we spend all over there, all over the place, into those kind of programs. And I know of Makweli. They have been doing it over the years, and I'm very thankful to be a part of that. And I know everyone else can do that. So we don't have young people moving everywhere and having all the time to themselves, doing all manner of self-destructive stuff.
I think that's a brilliant idea that the government of Professor Kibwana is doing. Because again, I am a strong believer that we should not judge our children by their past. Some of us, we lecture in universities. And we had not qualified. You know,
going to the university.
Going to the university direct. But because there was somebody to encourage us, to tell us that you can pursue a diploma and climb up the ladder all the way to PhD, I think even the government should not lock that door, because you cannot judge a person by how they performed yesterday. Things change. Life is very dynamic. And so is our development, very dynamic.
That is true.
That's what I
That is something we'll discuss for another day. But for now, we just want to say, let your young person be engaged to do something constructive. Let them help you at home. Walk with them. Let them go and help you. Don't just allow them to say, I'm going to see my auntie. That's what they look for to get out of home. You know, I remember when I left home, which I think I need to share the next time we meet. After Form 4, my father told us, after your exam, now go look for something to do. I left for Kisi Town. And in Kisi Town, I was very shocked when the exam came out. And I had a C plane. Can you imagine? I never imagined that I would get a C plane. And that was the beginning of a whole new life for me, which I need to share with you. But I'm here today.
Yeah.
I have been privileged by God to speak to so many young lives, thousands of them.
Yes.
And they have been encouraged about my story. I need to share that next. But meanwhile, thank you for watching. We want to appreciate you for the time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Moffat, for coming.
Thank you.
Moffat is the director of Procare Counselors.
Yeah.
And thank you for the good job you're doing.
Asante.
Yesterday I was in Kiambu.
Okay.
With Compassion International. We were launching a program there called Murad Youth.
Yes.
And I learned you also doing the same program for Compassion in another
International
place
somewhere in Embu.
In Embu.
Yes.
Embu. So keep
Yes.
doing it. Let's keep making our contribution.
Thank you.
Let me finish by saying this. All great people never began off as wanting to be great. They began off to make a difference.
Yeah.
And in the process of making a difference in their generation, something happened.
Yep.
So keep on doing what you're doing.
Asante.
And be sure I'll call you again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
The Lord bless you.
Bless you too.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. God bless.